فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى إِذَا فَرِحُوا بِمَا أُوتُوا أَخَذْنَاهُمْ بَغْتَةً فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْلِسُونَ. When they forgot those warnings that we had given to them, we opened the doors for them of all good. Everything started coming, good health, plenty of wealth, properties, gold, silver, oil wells, private jets and planes and everything. Allah Ta'ala says we gave them everything. Hatta iza farihu bima utu. We became very happy with whatever we gave to them. Then Allah Ta'ala says, Hatta iza farihu bima utu akhaznahum baghtatan fa iza hum mublisun. Then in the midst of their enjoyments, Allah Ta'ala says, suddenly we called them to account. They were seized suddenly. How many places in the late part of the night suddenly this disaster strikes and everything disappears. Then they are thrown into bewilderment. So Allah Ta'ala must give us the tawfiq to understand that He wants us to enjoy the ni'mat that He is giving to us, but we will not be able to enjoy it if we are going to use it against His will and wish. These type of weddings and functions and all that are not going to bring peace and happiness. It's not going to bring any kind of joy and comfort. These type of marriages, generally, we are not talking about this particular one, but generally, they do not even last more than a year. Generally, because I'm dealing with cases, I know how many of them. That what do they have? Just after a month or two, and we find big arguments and quarrels and disputes and fights and divorces and everything taking place. Don't try to displease Allah Ta'ala and then expect rahmat. It doesn't work like that. Light and darkness cannot reside in the same place at the same time. It's either light or it's darkness. Now there's light here, so there's no darkness. If it's darkness that side, there's no light. So we can't have two things at the same time. In our heart, if we are going to have darkness, then it is going to affect every action of ours. And to bring light, Allah Ta'ala has not made life difficult. He is not like our governments of the world. Allah Ta'ala is so compassionate and so caring and loving that even if you have gone very far, but one sincere tawbah, if a kafir, mushrik, one kalima la ilaha illallah he reads, and Allah Ta'ala wipes away all his past. 100 years of kufr is wiped away. What kind of Allah that must be? So the Muslims, the believers, you see, Allah Ta'ala is not going to accept their tawbah, but a little bit of himmat is required. Just a little himmat, that is all. And just for a few days it is required. After that the person, as I said, it will become more difficult for the person to sin. It will become more difficult for him to sin. Then, the more easy for him to do good deeds than to commit sin. It will become very difficult to sin. The moment the person will think of sin, straight away Allah Ta'ala will create a barrier between him and sin. And he will find himself restless and he'll stay away. Ask so many people who were addicted at one time to all this music and TV and videos and movies and all that. Now ask them that when that music goes into the ear, is it soothing to the ear, which at one time was so soothing, the person couldn't do without it. But they say we get so irritated, that if we can help it, we would like to go and bash that person. And yet that was the life blood of this person a few years ago. So what is it? It's just a little bit of himmat the person took. It's just shaitan glorifies it. That you can't do without it. You can't do without it. There's no happiness without it. You'll get bored without it. So you must just look back a few years ago when these things were not there. How did the people live at that time? Engage in healthy exercises. There's lots of sports and entertainment which is of the halal kind. I'm not talking about all this professional things. I'm talking about halal kind of sports for the individual. Allah Ta'ala has kept so much. Then with the family to picnic in a nice area where there is a little bit of seclusion, where there is with the person with his got time now with his family, with his children, and there are so many other things that he can engage in of the halal kind. Then what is the need to go towards haram? And that person who says that I'm in this world for a purpose, that it is my object of life, that I must occupy my spare time in the service to the deen of Allah Ta'ala and to His creation, then that person won't find time. There's no time after that for that person. I will just read the balance, inshallah, if Allah Ta'ala gives me life and brings